Hey everyone, it is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, September 18th. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly trade ideas video where we bring you some of the names from our watch list, stocks that are holding up well, showing some relative strength, and ideally are not yet too extended in their move. As always, these videos are powered by our friends over at Investors Business Daily, curating ideas based on their stock lists. You can get access to their stock lists with a link in the description of this video. So we are intraday right now. Fed just came out with a rate cut. Market so far is selling off more so on, I'm sure, the future expectations of cuts. So we are pulling back in the market, but that doesn't mean we can't build watch lists and start to plan some ideas and names that could hold up for us and start to lead in the future. These, of course, are not meant to be just bought blindly right now immediately. They should be researched by you to fit your due diligence and strategy, but also just as a real sort of a planning video for names that could start to shape up. So the first, we got 5 names we're looking at. First 3 from IBD, 2 from our watch list. First one here is EEFT. This is one that used to show up quite a bit on our watch list back earlier in the year. If we go to a weekly chart, you can sort of see why here. It was off to the races and really just kind of grinding and extending moves here throughout the first half of this year. Right around July is when it started to top out and pull back and finally give us some potential, re-entry or pullback opportunities in this name. So if we go back down to a daily chart, what we can see is we have this fairly significant horizontal level of support around 147. It acted as support back here in April and May. It acted as support back here in August. We recently broke down through it, and now you can see with this move we saw on Monday of this week, we punched back to this level, and now we're kind of just dancing around here. So for me, when I look at EEFT, if we can start to get back above and close over 147, that is what would be interesting to me as potentially kind of a false breakdown on this latest leg. We've got some clear momentum divergence at play here on this latest leg down. For instance, price made new lows, momentum here making a higher low. So for me, if we stay and we roll over, it's just a no touch. There's no trigger, there's no entry, there's no interest if we just roll over and continue in this intermediate term downtrend. However, if we can start to punch back up through here and get back above 148, make some closes above there, that would be interesting, and that would be something that would get my attention. So that's the first name there, is EEFT. Number 2 is HUYA. This is a breakout setup. This is something that has been kind of moving sideways here for most of this year. It topped out in March, April, right around or right under $30, right around $29 and about 30 cents or so. It's since that point has been moving sideways. It's bumped up against this 25, 26 area a couple of times. We do now have this trend line here. We have the prior July highs. You could probably even draw or extrapolate sort of a trend line here from these levels back in March, April. So there is some technical kind of confluence in here around this $25.50 to $26 area. If we can start to move through there, go to a weekly chart, it's a little bit cleaner. If we start to break through this 26 level, we could continue up to at least test those March highs and then potentially reassess at that point. So HUYA, that's number 2. And last but not least is INMD. This was a name that we talked about back on the 28th. So right in here, as it was consolidating, we identified this as a recent IPO name, something that was holding up and flagging at recent highs. And of course, we can see after that analysis, or shortly thereafter, that period, this ended up breaking out, got some good volume, and it extended its move to the upside. It's not quite got the same pattern going on here, but it is tightening up, and I just like it because it is a recent IPO name here, and for some traders that really like those young issues that don't have all the supply unlocked yet, and it's more of a tighter float here, this is something that's interesting as it's kind of gotten coiled here with higher lows, lower highs. It'd be interesting to to see if this can break, if this turns into another continuation pattern in this trend. So far, it's been a favorable reaction for the bulls since its IPO. So INMD back on the list here as an idea, first issued on the 28th, and now kind of back on and looking at it. So those are the 3 from IBD's list, 2 from our watch list, both sort of reversal setups here. XLNX, this is the first one here. It's a pretty well-known semiconductor name. It has been kind of in the dump here, so to speak, after July, kind of topping out around $140. It pulled back to the May lows, and it's still trying to catch its breath. It's still trying to catch its footing. You can see we got a little bit of kind of an inverted look here over the past month of trading, and it is trying to hold on to what would be sort of that neckline now, and or I'm sorry, the top of the shoulder right now, and it's trying to hold on to this level. And I think if it can, it starts to get interesting. If it moves back above 105 and then starts clearing above 107, this could start to ignite to the upside here and back into this old range. It does have some nice momentum divergence brewing here as well, so I do like kind of the setup here, the formation. Of course, if it rolls over, if it gets sloppy, if it starts to break down, there's no trigger, there's no trade, there's no interest, but if it can start to reverse course here and hold up, stabilize, and start break out to the upside, I do like the potential here for XLNX. Second up here is XBI. It's kind of a similar situation here, where it's another support play, but a little bit of a different look. This one here is the small cap biotech ETF. This has been sort of really just been grinding lower throughout the course of July and August. It came back down to and slightly undercut the June lows, the May lows here just recently, but what we saw was this expansion bar higher on Tuesday of last week, heavy volume, a break above this trend line, and now you can see it's just moving sideways here for about the past 5 or so trading sessions. And what I'm looking for here is to see if some type of higher low gets put in. In other words, what I don't want to see is this just roll back over and come back down into this old range, fall back below this trend line. That would be the bear case. That would be not interesting. But if it can, in fact, hold in around this, above $81, let's say, put in some type of higher low, and then start to leg higher and start to make a trend to the upside now, reversing this old downtrend, that would be interesting to me. So XBI, it's on the watch list there, and I'm looking to see how this consolidation here in the past 5 days holds up and look for that potential reversal. So that's it. That's what I got for this week's video. 5 names, all on the long side. Markets are pulling back now. So again, do your homework, make sure it's an environment that you would actually want to be involved in on the long side, and of course, do your homework on the individual names. So that's it for me. Every Wednesday, trade ideas just like this. You can subscribe on our YouTube channel or follow us on the Trade Risk. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back here on Friday for the market recap video.